What's happening, everybody? So, quick poll of the room. It looks like the youth came over here, and a couple in the back. Experience over here. Hey, hey, right? Just look. I mean, look. So, welcome. Excited to be back. So, I think a lot of us think that our competitors is the direct business that does the same thing that we do. And we put all of our efforts into defeating that person. Here's the problem. We're actually competing with the world. We see 5,000 different ads a day, and most people could care less about the competitor across the street that you in your mind think you need to worry about. So instead of worrying about the person who does the exact same thing across the street from you, you actually have to worry about competing against 5,000 different advertisements a day. This conversation is an ad. The clothes that I'm wearing are an ad. Michael's Facebook live feed right now is an ad. Everything that we do is some sort of ad that we might consume or we might not. And so the first thing I want you guys to be thinking about is it's not about the company that does the exact same thing as you, it's about the world. 300 hours a minute are uploaded on YouTube. There are over 100 million books that have been created over time. So why would I write a book? I got a lot of people to worry about. You guys remember this, right? Like Beauty and the Beast? No, the young kids, no, you never seen it? Come on, it's a good flick. But there's books everywhere, right? So we're constantly competing. So we're constantly consuming all of this content through YouTube, through reading books, podcasts, conversations like this. But oftentimes we read it, we consume it, we like it, and then we go, what next? And I looked back recently over the last 10 years of my business career, and I said, I wonder if there is some centralized question that people had asked me over and over and over again. And there was. It was some form of, I have a business, I have a skill set, I want more. I want it cheaper, I want it faster, but I don't know how, and I don't know the exact way to do it. And I said, that's interesting. I've answered that question in a plethora of different ways, through a plethora of different mediums. What would happen if I wrote a book? And I hate writing, so I figured, what better thing to do than do the thing that you absolutely can't stand? I like to challenge myself, and so for about 5 weeks at the beginning of last year, I decided I was going to do it. And honestly, I've been able to use a lot of the things that I detail in the book to get on the TED stage, to get my own TV show, to be here today, to help people do tremendous things in their businesses. And I thought, why not just provide them something so that people can have it and grow themselves? And of course, the key to all of this is getting more eyeballs in everything that you do, right? I recognized this about 3 years ago when I felt like I wasn't doing a lot of things, but people kept saying, I see you everywhere, Zach. I was like, that's interesting, because I feel like I haven't done anything in a month. But the more that you do, and the more that you do in a lot of different places, the more opportunities for people to see you. And so everything that we talk about in the book is basically as cheap as possible. How cheap? Basically less than the price of a Happy Meal at the old Golden Arches. So what is that, $3.95 maybe? You got a young kid. You don't take them to McDonald's? Sorry, McDonald's. Oftentimes, we don't put ourselves in the driver's seat. We allow someone else to be our driving seat, be that driver for us. And so if you are relying on someone else to build your career, your business, your brand, whatever it might be, you're probably going to lose. And I say that with conviction, and it's a bold statement, but no one knows what you do better than you. And so oftentimes people are trying to tell this story about you, but they butcher it terribly. And so you have to be in the driver's seat. You have to be constantly pushing. Anyone know what movie this is from? Talladega Nights, all right. You see what happens when you're in the driver's seat, you control everything. So let's say that you were on a podcast. You dropped the most amazing knowledge bombs ever. It was a year ago. And that person promoted it once. What's happened over that next 12 months? Nothing, unless you're in the driver's seat, right? Let's say you were featured in a magazine. It goes out for that month. They promote it for that month. Then guess what happens? They stop promoting it. Why? Because they have to sell the next edition and the next edition. You're always that next thing, right? That's why you have to constantly be in your own driver's seat. And if you are, anything is possible, even climbing some random rock in the middle of a mountain. And so that's basically what Anomaly is. How to be your own publicist, how to learn the techniques that are super cheap, and get the results that you want. And I know I have to be under 6 minutes.
Yeah.
How did I do?
Great. You got 1 minute left.
All right, we'll open up for questions.